Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Made Futures Live. Every Tuesday leading up to the exhibition in March, we're going to be holding sort of interviews, conversations with members who've been involved in the Made Futures book, just to talk about their stories. And that's a book which is going to be published in early March as well. So today we just wanted to have Richard Holdgate on, who's from CBE Plus, and speak about his role as precision engineering production manager and sort of his 12 years at the company and things like that. So thanks for joining today, Richard.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you too. So just for a bit of background, Richard was promoted in 2020 from team member to production manager. And like I say, he's been at the company for over 12 years. CBE are based in Chesterfield. They bring together the best in precision engineering with in-house assembly lines and pressure testing facilities, electroless nickel plating, complemented by their in-house metal testing. And when it comes to developing future generations, CBE really sort of lead by example, and that's why we did a story about them in the Made Futures book, which, like I said, you'll be able to lead in March. We asked Richard sort of 3 words to describe his role at CBE Plus for that story, and he said motivating, diverse, and challenging. So we just wanted to sort of find out more about that. And one format of CBE's apprenticeship program involves 4 days a week of on-the-job learning alongside a formal qualification, studied 1 day a week at a college or university. So we wanted to shine light on that sort of as a career path as well with the book article and with this interview today. And this was actually the format of similar format of Richard's program back when he did that. So we thought it'd be good to sort of speak to him and see how things have changed as well in that regard. And since then, Richard's obviously joined CBE, worked his way up the ladder and taken on numerous roles. So we're going to be talking about those and sort of experiences and responsibilities and things like that. So yeah, introduction over. Thanks again for joining us today, Richard.
Right.
So firstly, going back to the start, could you just tell us a bit about how you were introduced to the idea of an apprenticeship?
I came from my dad, really. My dad worked for Rolls-Royce. And not only did he work for Rolls-Royce, he also had a massive interest in engineering outside of his role at Rolls-Royce. He used to always be tinkering in the garage, and I can remember from being 5 and 6, he used to take me in there, get me kind of involved with what he was doing, showing me things like, well, not at 5 and 6, but when I was little, at welding and all aspects of engineering, really. And he always kind of banged on about getting an apprenticeship behind me. It's a great trade, and it obviously creates a good future. So, yeah, that's where it came from. And my dad, I've got my dad to blame for where I am now to a certain degree.
Yeah, nice.
So, yeah. He was a big inspiration, actually, my dad. Just the fact that he worked for Rolls-Royce was I kind of felt really proud that he worked for such a great British engineering company. And it's been a good learning experience through my dad and then taking on the apprenticeship, obviously, which I've done. So yeah, it's my dad.
Yeah, nice. And I think like that's spot on as well about sort of Rolls-Royce. I think a lot of people quite find it quite exciting, and it's almost like mysterious, isn't it? The thought of working with some company like that and some of the amazing things they do, especially as a kid. So when you got like a little bit older and then started thinking about it more as being a genuine career path for you, was there anything that sort of appealed to you about working in the manufacturing industry, and when you were going to apply for your apprenticeship, or was it just that course was a good fit for what you wanted, sort of thing?
I think, like I say, being shown around Rolls-Royce and looking at them, the jet engines and how them jet engines were made, and the skill that was involved and the precision, and like pieces of raw material being turned into these amazing components. I think it was always going to be like my hands-on career choice, really, because I was fascinated with how it came about, how a piece of raw material became a precision component. So yeah, I always got my hands dirty with, like I say, my dad would show me how to weld, and he had a little Myko lathe in the garage, so he'd show me how to do that. So I kind of it was always going to be the path I took, really, hands-on approach. And then with the apprenticeship, you're earning and learning at the same time as well, which was also a good fit because you're learning a skill and a trade, but you're also making money as well to become independent. So that was the bonus. So many bonuses to an apprenticeship, and that was some of the highlights really for me.
And was that straight from school, sort of like 16 sort of time?
Yeah.
On that, yeah.
Yeah, so I did. Again, I'm harping on about my dad, but he every 6 weeks holidays in the holidays, he'd drag me to Rolls-Royce to do work experience, like a 1 or 2 week through the 6 week holidays. So at 15, I was doing that. Sorry, 14, 16, I'd do that, and and then at 16, I left school with decent GCSEs, and I went into the apprenticeship role. I was taken on by a local company in Chesterfield as a tool room engineer. And again, initially it was, I did 6 weeks at college just to kind of learn the basics, and then it was 1 day release to college to do qualifications.
And that's sort of the same format which is going on now at CBE Plus, isn't it? With those sort of 4 days and 1 day.
Yeah, that's right.
At college as well. And then in the article we've got with you in the Main Futures book, it mentions you took on some other courses as well, sort of alongside your apprenticeship. Is that right?
I've done, obviously, I did MVQ level 2, level 3. I did a City and Guilds course. I did my ONC, my HNC, and then just other courses that were given to me on work based. So health and safety, all your basic stuff alongside. I was trying to do as much as I possibly could, really, just to learn and get as much experience in every area. Yeah,
I think that's probably put you in good stead. And then following on nicely to sort of talking about 12 years at the company, it's a really great achievement, really, and still going strong. What are some of the biggest sort of changes in progression you've seen in yourself, really, during that time? Whether it's a skill, whether it's sort of state of mind or anything like that. What's some of the biggest sort of changes you've seen in yourself over that period?
More confidence in my ability. I think that's the biggest one. People are always telling me to be more confident in your decision making, and I think that's definitely improved in the last year. I would say, from doing this role, dealing with people, dealing with situations. Like I just said to you earlier about, this is kind of I've just been introduced to this type of media, and it's like we said, it's good sometimes to step out of your comfort zone and get involved in something new. So definitely having confidence in yourself is confidence in myself is a big change, without a doubt. Yeah.
That's really good. I guess that's for a lot of people, like trying to get more confidence in themselves and just taking on a skill and like really progressing it. That can go a long way, can't it? With your career and making you more confident in general. Going a bit close to the present. In 2020, you were obviously promoted to production manager. Could you sort of tell us about how that came about? Did you apply for it? Did someone come to you? And how have you found the step up so far?
I didn't apply for it. I was approached to do the role from senior management. Obviously, they saw something reasonably good in me to be able to do the role. I just took it on from that respect, really. It's been challenging from time. I mean, going into the job in March last year, and then obviously this with the coronavirus hitting and development of the ventilator, and obviously the pressure on us as a business to get those parts out correctly to save people's lives. I mean, wow, that's talk about being thrown into the deep end to a certain degree. But we took on the challenge as a team, and it's been great, really, from a business perspective, and also from the fact that you're potentially saving thousands of lives. So yeah, absolutely, it's been good, and I've learned no end from every aspect of how to deal with situations with staffing and all that. So yeah, it's been fantastic. Yeah.
Brilliant, yeah. And like you were saying about the ventilator challenge, for anyone who doesn't know, you sort of manage a high-profile order for Ventilator Challenge UK, and tens of thousands of parts for ventilators had to be produced in a short time frame at the start of COVID-19 pandemic, wasn't it? And
that's right.
sort of support the NHS to save lives. And so would you say this is one of the projects you're most proud of with CBE? I guess it's got to be, isn't it? It's amazing, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can save people's lives, I mean, that's the most important thing, isn't it? I mean, the amount of people that you hear about that have obviously the deaths and everything, to potentially save thousands of lives, it's yeah, you don't get much bigger than that, really.
Yeah, brilliant. And sort of going to the future, how's got any sort of big projects at the moment, or sort of since then? Has there been anything else that you've sort of been putting all your energy into and what learning from and things like that?
Yeah, we've just recently finished a big project, actually, end of this month. It's several parts, precision aerospace parts that have gone really well from start to finish. We've planned it well and we've executed it well as well. So yeah, really proud of that again. And hopefully, fingers crossed, there's going to be more projects coming on board. But yeah, big credit to all the staff at CBE Plus for getting out what we've achieved to do. So yeah.
Spot on, yeah, that's brilliant. And I think sort of bringing the interview to a close, I think it'd be good just to see if you've got any advice to anyone considering a career or just starting out in your sector, in the manufacturing engineering industry as a whole. Maybe even advice you might have offered yourself when you started your apprenticeship.
I think, like I said earlier, I think it's just about being confident in your own ability. I think that's one of the main things. I think as a youngster, you haven't always got that confidence, have you? That comes with experience. But being confident in what you're doing and just working really hard. I mean, if you've got a plan and you've set your plan out, just work hard to achieve it. I know that's simple, but it's effective if you're hard working and you listen to people around you, take on people's experiences and even failings to a certain degree. Yeah, you'll achieve what you set out to do.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And that's all the questions for today. So thank you for joining us today, Richard. It's been great to hear a small part of your career so far with CBE Plus. I think it's a really good story. People can find out more about it in the May Futures book as well. And I encourage anyone listening, sort of considering a different career path, to maybe take a look at the schemes going on with CBE Plus and sort of the apprenticeship programs that they're offering as well. Some really good stuff. So yeah, thanks for joining today, Richard. Thank you for joining everyone watching as well. And look out for Richard's story in the May Futures book, which can be published in March. And otherwise, we look forward to seeing you next week to hear from a Made in the Midlands member who's going to be speaking with Maiden Group's Yasmin Banner as well.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that.
Cheers. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.